So here we are, Saturday night's short film showcase. We are now joined by some of the creators of those projects. Let's go down the line, introduce ourselves, and tell us what you did on what project.
Yes, I am Francesco Gabriele, and I was the director and producer for the short Cul-De-Sac.
I'm Nicola Ditter, and I was one of the actors on Cul-De-Sac. I played Cherry.
I'm Angela Darling Baby, ADB, and I'm the writer, producer, director of the Domestication of Vampires in Essex.
I'm Jason J. Lowe, and I did the SFX and art direction on Tadavi.
Tadavi, I love that, by the way.
Yeah,
I love
a
that.
good abbreviation. It's a bit of a mouthful. So.
Very, very towy, it works.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly where it came from.
Let's jump back a little bit before we talk about the shorts. Tell us a little bit about how you got into this filmmaking journey. And Angie, I know this is your directorial debut. So
indeed.
let's talk a little bit about that, go down the line, and why on earth you would want to be in the filmmaking business?
Well, I studied, I'm a lot older now. I studied theatre, English literature and media studies. But unfortunately, like years ago, the grade was dance performance, which is not my thing. I'm behind the camera, I love the details, and I flunked. So I ended up in finance for the last 20-something years. And then all of a sudden, COVID, you have a lot of time to think, process, write, be artistic. And I just decided that this is what I want to do now. And here we are, like a year ago, came into it, feeling like I'm a good writer. You never know that, but no idea how to make a film. And then come to these things, festivals, you meet people, and you learn. They teach you, you become a team, and we did it. A year later, here we are.
And have you caught the bug now? And
Oh, absolutely. I'd love this to be my full-time job. The day I give up finance will be a glorious day. So, yeah.
And you guys, your entry into this filmmaking world, and why on earth you would do it?
It's a good question. Well, because you love to tell, I think, stories for the same reasons, and it's just great to share experiences, I think, all together. And for me, I started out over 15 years ago now as an actor at the beginning, and after I realized that I enjoy much more to be behind the camera. So I went to film school, and I learned that I really love to more like directing actors and directing. And sharing stories. So I started more with drama, comedy, and after I realized that I followed my heart, that is horror. So it's always a pleasure to come here. This is my fifth year actually here at Romford Horror, and with different projects. And it's thank you so much for the opportunity. It's always fantastic to have a venue to screen the movie properly, like on a big screen, and with other people. And especially you realize what it works, what it doesn't, and it's always a learning experience. So I think that if you do this, it's just because you love to do it, because it's very, very challenging, but you can't just stop doing that. It's like when you start, it's very stressful. When you finish, you think, okay, I will never do this again. And after 2 weeks, you're already working on the next project, so yeah.
And from an actress standpoint, getting into this industry, why would you do it? And also, how did you get involved in Cul-De-Sac?
So the acting thing, I think is just really fun when you do get to do it. It's just playing pretend, basically just doing what we did as kids, but as an adult. So it's like the best job in the world when you do get to do it. And that's why I do it. And I love horror as well, because it's just such a nice community, I feel. And I got involved with Cul-De-Sac. Basically, I met Francesco at another film festival. I'm not going to name the festival, but the films were interesting. And his film really stood out.
Thank you.
And so I really wanted to speak to him. And I was like, I want to work with this guy. But then we became like best friends as well. And then finally also worked together. So, yeah.
So from our directors, where did these shorts come from? What was the initial inception, that initial idea? And why was this a story you wanted to tell?
Do I start?
Yes.
Okay. Personally, this is a story that I didn't write. So the screenwriter is American, Brandy herself, and she's great, very talented. And I always look for new screenwriters and writers to collaborate with, because I love to write my own materials, but sometimes I feel that there are great stories also, and writers that are much better possibly, than me, so why not? And I always look for screenwriters and original idea. And I found, I was looking for a script for quite a long time. And when I read this, I was very intrigued by the premise, by the story, by the characters, because it's a colorful, happy story, but that becomes quite dark. And it also makes fun. I don't like pretentious films at all, and so I like to tell a story that is, with lightness, also delivers some messages, and I think it's the best way. And here he makes fun about maybe certain kind of people, about a hyper healthy kind of life, that sometimes they don't realize that they try to impose their way of life and just stay back and in a way is. Let me leave, you leave, everybody is happy, but, the characters for me represent everything, so the three-dimensional characters and everything was a little bit grotesque, over the top, but in some way, when I read it, also I don't want to spoil too much for people that didn't watch it, but the ending, it came out as a surprise, and it was like, okay, this is very interesting, in just 10 pages. It makes me connect with the character, and I was very surprised. So I thought that from the director point of view, visually, it could have been very interesting. So we use a lot of very long shots, Steadicam, choreographing camera, and actors, but without many cuts. So everything was done in this way, yeah.
I know, I think Tadavi is a huge play on the Essex stereotypes, and being an Essex girl, I've endured many years of shit Essex jokes. So you rather than take that as a negative, I think I've just enjoyed that and enjoyed the playful side of it. So when I decided to write this, something that was over familiar, good fun. It just came quite naturally. Being an Essex girl, it was there, the stereotypes, and Pauline Purr, obviously, I see her, like, she's my teenage dream, like, literally, like, as a 15-year-old goth, going into London, seeing her signing autographs, and so vampires have always played, like, a huge part in my love of horror. So to blend the two was quite easy and natural, and I really loved it. And so, it comes from being an Essex girl and a love of the vampire side of horror, for sure.
Yeah, you've got to fly that flag proudly, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So with these projects, what would you say is the one thing, and especially from a debut standpoint, and we've seen plenty of your films now, but what would you say is the biggest thing on this project that you've learned about filmmaking that you maybe didn't know about to start off with, but also something that you've learned about yourself during this process?
Well, when I started out, I knew nothing. So I've learned everything you see that was in the film, I learned on the go. Thanks to my amazing team, like Jay, Boothby, they taught me everything. So I learned everything as I go. But in hindsight, shoot more, allow more time, even if the budget goes over a bit, but the time and the extra shots that you think are not worth it, they might be worth it in the edit.
And you need 4 times as long for
time.
any effect.
It's like
special effect shots. You need 4 times as long as anybody thinks you need.
2 hours don't cut it. Needs a day for
2
special
hours
effects.
just don't work.
more time for sure.
With this short, I really wanted to try to have a much more controlled environment compared to other projects. Last year we had here a feature, Behave. The year before it was another short. But this, I really wanted to have one location and be able to focus only on the performances and the mise-en-scene of the actors. Because when you work with also lower budget, you're always, constantly under time pressure. You didn't have time to work on the details. And with this, instead, I was very, very happy that we had time to rehearse, time to develop the shots as I wanted to. So I was able to finally be able to share my vision as I wanted to. And I realized that for me, it's important to challenge yourself and do big projects, that even if sometimes you don't have the budget to do it, but sometimes also to reduce and simplify things to be able to achieve what you really want to achieve. Because otherwise, every time I watched previous project, I was thinking, I wish I would do differently. I wish I had more time for that. Instead, for this project, I was able to have one location, put everything there, choreographing the actors, but being able to have enough time to do what I wanted, because rather than having something that is too big and try to reduce it, I tried to do something with the resources I had, so I adapted that. And I think it was a very important lesson that I learned, for the future.
So with that in mind, all creatives are very critical of their own work. You sit
Indeed.
with it for months, editing and getting it down pat and everything like that, but you see it up on a big screen and you'll be able to see every little detail that's wrong with your shot, especially today when you've seen it up there. But I like to spin that into a little bit as a positive. And I like to ask, what exactly are you the most proud of with these shots when you see them up on the big screen? And that's from an actress standpoint as well.
You want to start?
I think from in this short film, the most proud is just how well it all looks together. I feel like we really came together as an ensemble, like all the actors, and it was like these beautiful 3 summer days, and we just all got on so well within those 3 days and really, really worked together. And some of the shots, it doesn't seem like it when you see it, but it was really hard to walk at the same time, stop at the same time, but we kind of fell into that rhythm, and I feel like now it just looks really good and it does work together. So I think that's,
One thing specifically for this short that made me very, very proud is that apart from her and the guy that played basically the house band of the main lead actress, all the other actors were also my students when I'm teaching screen acting at university. So I was able to cast all of them, and for them was their first, let's say, proper roles in a film. And it helps some of them with their future project, career. So I think it was very good to see how, someone that they never acted before in front of the camera, they did it for the first time, and everything. I'm very happy with the performances overall of all the cast. So more experienced actors like her or Tom that is very, very experienced. I was worried that maybe I would find some differences, or it would have been taken so much long to get there with the performances, but everything, it becomes, as she said, a very good ensemble, and this short is very character driven. So that was the thing I'm more proud of.
I just think mainly that we did it. This time last year we were at this festival, just a script. I found my crew, the cast, never produced, direct, we did it, and I'm really proud of that. But I'm also, I just really proud that we just did it. It might not be great, but
in ingredients, it is that ensemble thing, right? We had 10 people made that film. 10 people did everything that you saw up on that screen between us, and it was a bunch of collaborative sort of creative decisions that led to what we saw.
Everyone played their part, didn't they? And it was so important.
Everything that you see on the screen is how we envisaged it. It was how we all sort of contributed it to it and made it something that it became.
And you did get it made. And it's up on the screen today.
We did it.
It's absolutely fantastic. So give yourself a little bit of a round of applause right now. Quickly.
Yeah, we are.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions from the audience? You will have to
Thank
shout,
goodness.
not all at once. Not Andy, if he's still here.
I am, unfortunately.
Right, so I'm going to wrap up with one last question. And it's a bit of a fun question to end the night, basically. And that is, if you guys had infinite amounts of money and you could remake any classic movie, however, it now has to be a musical,
Oh, God.
and your cast has to be puppets.
Okay.
You came up with that right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that
Calling
obvious?
BS on that.
What movie would you remake?
With puppets?
Yeah.
A musical.
You can have
A
one,
mu-
you
it
can
has
have
to
one
be a
human
musical.
character.
A musical.
Yes.
Why are you giving it to me?
Because then I have more time
Because
to
you're
think.
the one that called me out.
The Devil's Rejects by Rob Zombie. I think that would be very, very good.
With puppets.
With puppets, yes, and musical.
Jurassic Park.
Wow. Yeah, I like that.
Shaving Ryan's Privates.
Love it.
I have no idea, really. It doesn't. Did you say it has to be a musical too?
Yeah. No, like it could be any genre, but like it's now turned into a musical.
I'd probably do like Cocktail because you know, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Old Tom Cruise, alcohol.
And
Good
I
movie.
say that because 2026 Romford Film Festival will be bringing the Puppet Fest. We can say that now, right, can't we? Hopefully one day. Anyway, guys,
Everyone
thank
likes
you
puppets.
so much for bringing your
Thank
movies
you.
to us. Thank you for
Thank
submitting,
you.
letting us show up here. And most of all, thank you for being here today to do this.
Oh,
Everyone,
thank you.
round of
Thank
applause.
you.
Thank you so much.